Supposedly the best-selling plasma cutter on Amazon just got better, and one of you is going to win it. Stick around. What's up guys, welcome back to INTHESHOPTV. My name is Mike. A while back, Bestarc sent me the same plasma cutter that's an earlier generation. It's their Gen 3 model. I still have it over there. I use it. I love it. It's a great machine. They sent me their upgraded machine, which is the same machine, but it has an upgraded LED screen, and we'll get into all the features that it has. We're gonna put it through its paces. We're gonna cut some different material and see how it does. Then we're gonna box it back up. We're gonna have a giveaway, and one of you is gonna win it. Why am I giving it away? Well, as you guys know, sometimes sponsors will send us products to try out and review on our channel, and that's been the case with other plasma cutters. Their 3rd gen machine over there, and 2 other plasma cutters that I have here in the shop. How many plasma cutters do I honestly need? It's you guys who make this channel what it is, so why not spread the good fortune? I'm gonna keep the old one and give you guys the new one. I'll tell you guys how you can win this plasma cutter towards the end of the video, but right now, enough of that. Let's crack this thing open and take a look at it. Super protective packing, just like when I received the other one. In the accessory box, we got the vinyl air hose, ground clamp and work lead. Looks like some Teflon tape, hose clamps, and extra tips. The obligatory manual. The pigtail, if you want to go from 240 to 120, or if you don't have 240 volt service available where you are. And of course, the bag with our torch. Guys, this is an AG60P torch. It's really kind of common that you can find consumables for these pretty much everywhere online, even on Amazon, so that's a really good thing. So I should mention right off the bat, guys, if you're looking at this, this is a pilot arc machine, meaning when you press this trigger, you should have your superheated plasma shooting out of there, and when you let off the trigger, it'll stop. Other types of plasma cutters that you might encounter are contact tip plasma cutters, meaning you have to actually make contact with the material before you can initiate an arc. You don't have to do that with pilot arc machines. Now they give you this little guard on here, and the purpose behind that is to keep the ideal cutting distance between the workpiece and the torch itself. If you have a really steady hand and you're good at plasma cutting, you can kind of discard this and just go off a feel. I don't. So we're gonna keep this on for the sake of demonstration, mostly because I really wanna get as true of a representation of how well this machine cuts as possible. And of course, we've got the machine itself. So right off the bat, we just noticed a pretty small case size, which I like. Not that long, very compact, very portable. Got a nice metal carry handle. It's ever so slightly different in appearance from the previous model I have. Maybe just a little shinier or a little narrower, I can't tell, but very, very similar. Oh, this is tough, guys. I love peeling these off, but since one of you guys is gonna win it, I'm gonna be cool and leave it for you. Here's our power cord, and I know this sounds silly, but one thing I had mentioned in the previous video that I really like about this is that it's a nice, soft, and supple cord. It's just kind of a pet peeve of mine. You ever take out a new appliance and the cord is kind of folded up and it's got that memory and it looks all zigzaggy and it kind of stays that way forever. It never really lays out nice. Not the case with these. Same deal with their ground clamp. It's nice and soft, no memory to it whatsoever. You know, is it important if it has memory in it? It's a different, crunchy type of cord. Not really, it's just kind of a personal preference thing, but I'm really happy that these are nice soft cords that lay out well. Here on the back panel, it's really simple and straightforward. You got your power switch, your cord, your air inlet. They give you a standard air chuck, which I'm really happy about. You've got a water separator, and it's kind of enshrouded in this metal case so that sight glass doesn't shatter or break if it comes into contact with anything. And you've got your thermal protection fan. Flipping it around to the front, the connections are real simple. You've got your earth or ground connection here, your actual pilot arc connection. This is your control connection from the torch, and this is from the torch itself where your air actually flows through. You have a standard air regulator here, and that will be displayed in your display screen above. And other than your actual air pressure, all of your operations and settings will be controlled right here. All right, I'm gonna get this thing all connected and then we'll fire it up. So just a really nice display right off the bat. First thing I want to do is I'm going to set our air pressure. For that, we're going to come to this button and use the regulator. What we're going to do is we're going to push this button and it's going to send air through the torch so that we can turn our regulator and get our proper setting. I'm going to start out around 60 PSI. Moving over one, we got 2T and 4T, and we leave it on 2T. That just means that your superheated plasma comes out when you're holding the trigger, and when you let go, it turns off. If you were to go to 4T, you would push the trigger and let off, and the flow would still continue until you touch the trigger again. We're gonna go back to 2T. 220 is automatically illuminated because it senses the voltage we have coming in. We are cutting on 220 today. You can also use 110, 120 with that adapter that we showed you. But for the sake of testing this machine, I always do everything weld and use plasma cutters on 220 anyway. If it's available in your shop, you should use it. So this last control over here is gonna give you your post flow, which is the first setting, meaning how long the air flows through the nozzle to cool it after you let go of the trigger and you're done cutting. That will extend the life of your consumables, and it's adjustable. The second one is the duration time of the pilot arc, meaning when you pull that trigger and it initiates an arc, how long will that arc continue before you actually make contact with the workpiece? We'll set our post flow, it's at 3 seconds. I'm gonna go to 5. And that is set at 5 seconds. I think that's reasonable. We'll leave it where it is. And lastly, your knob will select the amperage that you want to cut with. Some really important things to note when you're plasma cutting. You really want to have as clean, dry air as possible. I'm using a little desiccant filter on the back of this. And making sure that you have a really good ground is imperative. All right, so the manual states it can cut all the way up to 13/16. I don't have anything anywhere near that thick in this shop. The thickest I ever do anything with is like 1/4 of an inch. So we're gonna start with some really thin stuff and work our way up to the 3/8. All right, so first up, we have some 1/8 flat stock. This is aluminum. I don't really work with a lot of aluminum here in the shop, but I figured it's a good test. We'll try different materials as well as the steel. The thinner stuff, it says to start off at 50 PSI. We're at 20 amps. Let's see how that does. There's our 5 seconds of post flow. We have our fan coming on, and the fan light illuminates. So fairly clean cut, tiny bit of dross on the back side of it. That's to be expected anytime you're using a plasma cutter, but pretty clean cut. I'm overall happy with that. So that's all the aluminum I have. Let's move on to some thin steel. Next up is 16 gauge mild steel. All right, guys, this is a really good example of how you, the user, can control the outcome of the dross on the piece. This is the side we started on, and if you notice, we have kind of a glob hanging off of there. I realized I was moving too slow, and as I sped up this thin material, we have less and less. And right here towards the end, we don't have any. So it's hard to judge a machine based on the amount of dross you get, because that really comes down to the user itself. All right, so next up, we have some 1/8 mild steel. For that, I'm gonna bump up my PSI. I'm going to bump up my amperage, let's say 27 amps. Let's see how that does. So a very nice clean cut there. All right, so here's a good test. I got kind of a rusty, dirty piece of 3/16, nice thick stuff. I went up to 60 PSI, but I think I'm going to bump this amperage up to 35 and see how that cuts. All right, here we go, 3/16. Problem with 3/16. A little bit of dross on the back. No problem at all though, cut right through it. All right, so we got some real thick stuff here. We got 3/8 for the ultimate test. I don't have any 1/4 inch, but we'll jump right up to the max. I'm gonna max machine out at 50 amps and 70 PSI. Let's see what happens. That's a nice clean cut for you, huh? So I want to show you guys this cut piece, another really good example. There's hardly any dross at all on most of the cut, except for at the end where I sped up just a little tiny bit. And it just really goes to show you that it's not really the machine, it's the user that controls the overall appearance of the cut. Otherwise, that is a super clean cut through the thickest stuff I have. Go figure, the hardest stuff there is to cut, I get the best cut possible. It's all the user, guys. Just as I expected, based on the other machine, this machine performed flawlessly. I had no issues with it whatsoever. The only issues that it has, or anything that's really bad about it, is the user. I definitely need more practice when it comes to plasma cutting. There's no mistake about that. But the machine did everything it's supposed to do, and I gotta tell you, I opened my mouth and said I'm giving you the new one, and man, I'm a little bit jealous of whoever gets it, because This layout and this user interface is super intuitive. It's actually really cool, a little bit cooler than the old one that I have. So whoever's lucky enough to win this machine, you're gonna get a really cool machine, I gotta tell you. All right, how do you win this thing? Really important that you pay attention to all the little details right here. First, you have to be subscribed to this channel. So if you're not already subscribed, click that subscribe button. Number two, you've gotta like this video and you've gotta leave a comment saying that you're subscribed. Most importantly, here's the most important part, guys. We've had people win stuff from us doing giveaways in the past. They write subscribe, they hit like, they subscribe to the channel, and they never check back to see if they won. So, if you guys want to win this, one of you will win, I promise you. We're going to use a random comment generator to pick the winner, and somebody's going to get it, and it might as well be you. Today's the 15th of September, so what we're going to do is we're going to let this run for 1 month. We'll let people have a chance to view this and subscribe. October 15th is going to be the cutoff, so really, really important. You got to check back for the announcement to see who wins. If you never check back to see if you won, you're not going to receive your machine. It's a really good machine, and I want you to have it, and I want you to enjoy it. I want to give a super huge shout out and thank you to Bestarc for providing this machine for us to test and to give away to you guys. That's a really cool thing for them to do, and I'm super appreciative of that, and I'm happy that one of you guys is going to win. So big thanks to you, Bestarc Plasma. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Remember, you got 1 month. You got to like the video, you got to comment that you're subscribed, and you have to actually subscribe. We're going to check, okay? So guys, I hope you like this content. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you next time in the shop.